Hello, everybody, and welcome to the afternoon tune. I'm your host, Josh, and with me is my co-host here.
Hey, this is Dusk.
And we got a good show for you people today. Gonna be doing Dune 2, doing it. There. Gonna be doing that today. And that's the only review that we have today. Only real topic we have today. No real news I knew about unless you wanted to talk about something in particular. But yeah, I got real no news today. We already covered some trailers already. I did that with Sage a couple days ago. We did Boy Kills the World, and then we did the Borderlands trailer. Yeah, I mean that's
Hmm.
pretty much it, really. I know that the anime awards is coming tomorrow. They're doing that. Uh, you know, but I don't know. I have I ever asked you if you watch a lot of anime or not, or
I mean, you have. I watch occasionally.
okay, yeah. So, there's that. Yeah. So you know, I may maybe discuss the winners and losers of that. I think I now that I watch a little bit more, maybe I have an opinion on it. But yeah, that's pretty much it, really. I
Mhm.
am going to be doing a show tomorrow as well, Saturday with Chill, who's also a Twitch streamer, and then I'm going to be doing with Jamarco. We're going to be doing the Vince Staples show, which is on Netflix right there, and we're also going to be doing a review for Tyler Perry's Mia Coppola. We're going to be doing that as well. I'm also going to be doing a stream there with Sunday with Nick, other co-host of the channel. We're going to be doing. He's going to be giving his review of Dune 2, and we're going to be doing our 10 favorite episodes from Avatar: The Last Airbender. We're going to be doing that. Have you seen the live action series
Which one?
of Avatar: Last Airbender?
Uh, I just started
You just started it. Okay,
on the
yeah,
live on the new live action. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So
Me and Nick did a whole thing on the other one from
oh yeah, and
2010.
yeah, you guys did the movie, the M Night Shyamalan movie, because we did cross our goal. We went over 350 followers on Twitch. Very good there. We're getting
Yes,
close
sir.
to 400 followers, so let's get to 400 there. That'd be awesome if we could do that. But yeah, you guys did the M Night Shyamalan movie, which I saw. I finally saw the M Night Shyamalan movie, and boy, that was a piece of shit.
Yeah, you should
Uh,
have joined us on that discussion.
Yeah, fortunately, I couldn't because I had something else, but
I got you.
yeah, but that's gonna be going up on the YouTube channel pretty soon there. In anticipation for this live action, TV show that we had coming out, we did review each book of the cartoon, and man, it was fun going back and reviewing each book of the show. You know, I hadn't seen the cartoon, in a while, so it was nice going back and watching it again. Still peak, still really great. Still one of the best animated series ever made, I think.
It's very good.
Um, so I love that. So yeah, we're gonna be doing our 10 favorite episodes of the animated series there. Do you have a favorite episode of Avatar: Last Airbender that you can think of? Some that come to
Uh,
mind?
favorite. The water spirit is a good one. When he's the when Zuko is pretending to be the blue spirit. I meant.
Oh yeah, that is a good. That is pretty
It's a
good.
very good episode. Another one, honestly, when they first get to the air temple is a very good episode. That's a really good tone change and kind of sets up for the rest of the series, really.
Mm, yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of really good episodes. I know a
Yeah.
lot of people love Zuko Alone is a big one. A lot of people love where it tells us
Hmm.
the story, backstory of him. A lot of people like the two-part finale of the first season with the Northern Water Tribe. A lot of people really love that.
Hmm.
So yeah, a lot of really great episodes there. So we did that. So we have each that's gonna be coming up on the channel, youtube.com, the afternoon tune pretty soon of each review of each book that we have there. And since I'm, kind of hungry for a little bit more Avatar content, I was gonna probably get Mike Hedgewood. Mike Hedgewood, who's the artist there. We're gonna be doing a review of each season of Book of Korra. Doing a review of
Mm.
that. So that's what we got planned. Monday, I do have a stream coming up. I'm going to be doing a review of Sage from the Rated Infant Maturity channel. Usually doing anime Mondays there, and we're going to be doing Paprika. They got a re-release in theaters this year. We missed
Oh.
when it was in theaters, but I'm going to be doing a review of that. So that's the other Satoshi Kon movie there. We already did a review of Perfect Blue, which was one of his other movies there. So now we're doing a review of Paprika. So yeah, first time seeing it. Never seen Paprika before. I saw it a couple nights ago. So yeah, gonna be discussing that. Have you
It's a
seen it?
trip. Oh, yeah. No, it's a trip.
Yeah. How much do you think Inception cribs from Paprika?
Inception. I mean, with Christopher Nolan, he has many different interests, so he probably was inspired a little bit by it. If not, I mean, he's also inspired by Ghost in the Shell, a few others. I mean, there's been a lot of fantastic anime movie series that have influenced other creators.
Mm,
So yeah, the whole idea of like popping in and out of a dream world is always something that's kind of interesting and really, really hard to pull off.
yeah. When's the last time you saw it? How long has it been?
I want to say about 8 years.
8 years? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they did a re-release of it in theaters this year, so we missed that, but I was able to just watch it. It's on Tubi.
Yeah, there you go.
So you can watch it on Tubi for free if you want to check it out. Yeah, the strangest movies are on Tubi.
Hey man, don't sleep on Tubi.
Yeah, so that's kinda surprising, but hey, if you wanna watch it, people can do so for free, on there. We have that coming up. Also, next Friday, we're gonna be doing a review for Kung Fu Panda 4. And before that, we are doing a stream Wednesday. I'm gonna be doing it with Brandon and potentially Nick, and we're gonna be doing a review for Kung Fu Panda 3, Close Out, because we did 1, we did 2. I was like, "Well, hey, might as well." Saw 1, saw 2, might as well just close it out, watch the whole, trilogy, and then, finish it off with the 3rd one, so, we are gonna be doing a review of that, and the 3rd one is really good. I actually like the 3rd one, I think, the best out of all 3.
Mm.
So I think it works on a lot of levels, but I think you told me that it's not as strong for you, it's not as strong as the other
Yeah, I just feel like he earned his stuff a little too quickly in the third one. There's a little bit more. It's just not as strong, I think, as the second and the first one.
Mm, yeah. I would say, it is a lot less of probably the Furious 5 than we see in other movies. And I like the Furious 5. I like kind of their chemistry together. Um, and this one delves more into his backstory. You see his father in this, which got teased at the end of the second one. Who's voiced by Bryan Cranston in this. But yeah, I like this. I love the villain in this, J.K. Simmons. I think he's the best villain in the series there. I think that's good. I think the humor is better here. I think the
Mm.
humor isn't relying so much on, "Hey, he's fat."
Yeah,
He's a fat fucking panda. Look at him.
they're all fat pandas. That's the point.
Yeah, I think it doesn't just rely on, "Hey, he's fat." You know what I mean? I think they kind
Yeah,
of divert away from that a little bit there, which was good. I like that. So, yeah, I really like this one. So I can't wait to see, what they do with the 4th one.
yeah.
And the 4th one, yeah, is coming out next week there. Aquafina's gonna be in it. Awkwafina, whole
Uh,
new journey, everything like that. So we'll see. And then, yeah, so like I said, we're gonna be doing a review of Kung Fu Panda 3, and in a couple of weeks, Roadhouse 2024 is gonna be released, the one with
Roadhouse.
Jake Gyllenhaal, Roadhouse. Jake Gyllenhaal, Conor McGregor. So before that one, we're gonna be doing a review of Roadhouse 1989. We're gonna be doing that Wednesday. The Patrick Swayze movie. We
Mhm.
are gonna be doing that. When's the last time you seen Roadhouse 1989?
Ooh, honestly, not that long ago.
Okay.
Within
Um
like 3 years.
Yeah, it's been a minute since I've seen this. Yeah, it's on HBO Max. So it has been a minute there since I have seen this. Rest in peace to Patrick Swayze, he passed
Yeah.
away of cancer. Rest in peace to him. But this is one of his classic movies. He was one of the big stars of the '80s. He had this, he had Dirty Dancing.
Oh
Uh,
man.
yeah, he's one of kind of the bigger stars in the '80s there, Patrick Swayze. So yeah, it's just simple movie. A guy cleans up a bar in a black t-shirt and tight ass jeans and some cowboy boots, and he beats the shit out of everybody. Pretty
Yeah,
simple.
it's simple and when you break it down like that, but it really complicates itself and how convoluted it kind of gets.
Yeah. So yeah. Doesn't Patrick Swayze, didn't he really know like martial arts or something
Oh
like that?
yeah, that's why they
Yeah.
that's why they got him.
So yeah. Yeah, so it works there. And how's it going there, Rated M for Immaturity? Good to see you, man. Very
Hey.
much appreciated. Thanks for stopping by. So yeah, we're gonna be giving a review of that Wednesday. Probably 7. All these streams are probably gonna be 7, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time that we're gonna be doing this Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Wednesday. And hopefully you can join us next Friday there, Dusk. Or
Yeah, hopefully.
how do you feel about going to animated movies, being a grown adult, and probably the how do you feel about
Uh well, they take my money. So it's kind
Yeah,
of like eh.
yeah.
Honestly, at least it's not like with Carlisle and going to the Bratz movie and
Mm.
wearing a trench coat while I did so.
You ever
Which
think, yeah, they just kinda, the attendants looking at you like, "Oh, just fucking this grown
yeah,
fuck going."
no, no, it was he's like it was this was years ago. This is from a channel called spill.com that's now double toasted where we got inspiration from. Yeah, Caro just it's just funny. One of the funniest stories. He's like, "Yeah, I was. It's the most mortifying experience he ever had in the cinema. Every time the parents would keep looking at him, and he just like keep looking his head down because like, oh god. And occasionally, like some of the attendants like walked over and said, "Take your hands out of out of the pockets." Yeah,
Jesus.
yeah. No, he's just like, oh my, like yeah. He's like, so he had like his hands, basically both hands on his head. He's like, yeah, it was mortifying.
Yeah, trench coats are a bad idea.
They are,
Yeah.
yeah. He's like, I don't know what possessed him to do that,
Wow. Who even
but
still wears a trench coat anymore like that anyway?
yeah.
Yeah, he's out here looking like a fucking secret squirrel and shit like that.
Secret squirrel.
Yeah, good old secret squirrel. Okay, this was Carlisle in the theater right there.
I mean, pretty much, yeah. Keep your hands where I can see them.
Yeah, you see, look, and it made it worse because, like, okay, if he puts on clothes, that means when he opens it up like that, he's basically fucking naked. He's basically exposing himself.
I guess so in the logic of some, but he is wearing fur, so you know.
Yeah, which I think they did that. I think they did it as a joke in Harvey Birdman, Attorney at
Oh
Law. I think
yes, very much.
they
Yeah.
did that. It's like, wait a second, you flashing, you know what I mean? So it's like
Oh
we got,
yeah, absolutely.
yeah. So that was kind of funny. Yeah.
Whatever joke they could get.
Man, I missed that show, Harvey Birdman. I missed that was
Oh
a
yeah,
funny show.
it came back a couple years ago. They did a, special with the whole cast.
Ah, yeah, man, I missed that. Yeah, that was a good show.
Hmm.
Funny times there. People don't know it was an Adult Swim show. They took the Hanna-Barbera cartoon characters and they, made like a law type show there. It was pretty funny. Yeah.
It is. It's very good.
Yeah. So, like I said, yeah. So we only got, yeah, that pretty much there is just Dune. Then we got those streams coming up. Thanks to Dust for being able to join me here,
Absolutely.
um, for good old Dune. So yeah, let me pull up my notes for this, and let's go ahead and let's get started here. Let me go ahead. Yeah, 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 yeah. Mm-mm-mm-mm. All right. Did you see this in IMAX?
Yeah, I did. I had to drive a long way.
How long?
Uh, about 15 miles each way.
Wow. Okay.
15 miles, about 30 to 45 minutes each way. So
Uh,
I got a really early showing to kind of knock that out of the way, so I didn't hit too bad traffic.
okay. All right, let's get into this. All right, everybody. Our first and only review of the day is going to be for the film Dune Part 2. Dune Part 2 is, of course, a sequel to the first Dune film. This again is Denis Villeneuve. He's coming back to direct it. He's gonna fit, and he's also going to be doing a third film as well. So it is going to be a trilogy of Dune movies here. And I think that Dune Part 2, it is one of those sequels that really benefits the first film, because I think if you see both back to back, I think it really does benefit the first film, because I saw the first film of Dune and I thought it's a lot of setup. I thought it was pretty slow. Um,
Yeah, it's mostly set up.
yeah, so it was a little slow there in a lot of parts. So I think it does help the first film to see like this one and see both of them kind of back to back. I think it greatly does help it. So what's going on in this Dune Part 2? Well, you have, if you remember at the end of the last one, House of Atreides has basically been all wiped out except for the son and except for the mother there, the wife of Oscar Isaac's character. Yeah, basically a lot of them have been all wiped out. The entire house. And now Paul Atreides, who's played by Timothy Chalamet, and his mother, Lady Jessica, who's played by Rebecca Ferguson, are now hiding amongst the Freemen, the indigenous population of the desert planet of Arrakis, also known as Dune. And while they're hiding amongst the population of the indigenous population there of the Freemen, Paul Atreides is learning the ways of the Freeman. As you can see in this trailer here, he's learning, what it means to be a Freeman. He's learning how to ride a sandworm, which was a very exhilarating, thrilling scene, by the way. That sandworm scene. So he's learning all the different customs, all the different ways to survive in this environment, this harsh desert environment. And I tell you, in this kind of this year of 2024 film, I mean, it really is like a fucking desert of like trying to find some good cinema, because
Oh
it is
yeah.
it has been such a wasteland of seeing Argyle and seeing Miller's Girl. I mean, finally, it's like getting this was like getting some fresh water in a desert. I mean, you
Yeah,
haven't drank.
it is an oasis in a desert.
Yeah, and this is some good cinema. Finally, we got some good cinema. It took 3 months into the year, but finally we got some good cinema here. But yes, you see that they're trying to learn the ways and customs there, and you also see that amongst that, he's also disrupting the spice production of House Harkonnen. You see that Dave Bautista, has taken over, trying to harness the spice, which in this universe is the precious mineral, precious material there that basically controls everything in this galaxy, in this world here, is spice. And you see them a lot of trying to take it the fight to House Harkonnen after their defeat in the first movie and interrupt the spice production. And you also get some new characters in this. You also see John Voight, who's the Emperor of the Galaxy. You see his daughter Florence Pugh. You also see Austin Butler there, who's the youngest nephew of the character played by Stellan Skarsgård, the Baron Harkonnen character. Who Austin Butler, by the way, very good job in this movie, I thought, and I feel like you could still hear his Elvis accent. I know that he said that he kind of trained trying to get rid of the accent because he was such stuck in Elvis mode, but I still feel like even in here you still hear little bits and pieces of the Elvis accent there. So yeah, that is the setup here of this Dune Part Two, and also I did get some good old Dune merch here. I got the popcorn bucket here. Did you end up getting one?
No, I haven't decided to pick up that one.
Yeah. I ended up getting this. Also got a nice water bottle here as well.
Mhm.
Yeah, I stuck my dick in it and everything. Stuck my dick in the popcorn bottle and everything.
Oh my
Um,
goodness.
Yeah, so it's really cool though. I just it I this is my first popcorn tin that I've ever gotten for a movie. They've done a lot of cool ones, and this is the Dune one here. And a lot of people talking about how freaky it looks, especially if you see because there's a sandworm on top there. Yeah, this is cool though. I like this. This is all right. Yes, yes, yes. So Dusk, what are your thoughts on Dune Part Two?
Uh, well, like you said, this really did feel like a finally a bit of some fresh water in a desert of just bad to mediocre films. It's good to see a visual, just a well developed visual movie again, especially for considering its budget and how much it utilizes its budget with its use of cinematography and performances and special effects. Honestly, for the amount of budget and the way the special effects are integrated into this movie, the rest of Hollywood should be ashamed of themselves.
Mm, yeah. And what was the budget here on Dune Part Two?
I think it was 190 million.
Yeah, I think it was, yeah, close to that. Yeah, I think it was somewhere in the 190 million territory, and looks gorgeous. Looks every
Oh
bit
yeah,
of it here.
especially when they go to the Harkonnen world and it switches over to a completely different color palette.
Yes, and you are correct. It is 190 million. Yeah, budget on that.
Nice.
Yeah. And me and Sage, who's in the chat right now, we talked
Mm,
about the David Lynch 1984 David Lynch film there.
mm,
And we talked about practically, the sandworms and the environments, all that looked very good. That's one of the big standouts of that movie.
mm.
And you also can kind of see that here of like they actually went to the desert.
Oh yeah,
It doesn't just feel like it's like the Disney does with the whole Valium thing where it's
oh yeah,
somebody there in the whole background, which is I get is a revolutionary piece of technology and can be used good if you know how to really use it.
yeah,
But, it always helps to actually go to these environments because it just makes things, it has that feeling and lived in feeling in it. And
yeah.
when you are with Paul and when you see Paul kind of amongst the people, the freemen, you feel like you're amongst the freemen. You feel like
Mm,
you're learning their ways with him. You really feel like, you know, you're learning all these different customs and beliefs that they have. Like I said, that sandworm scene when he's riding it, it's like even though this movie isn't even in 3D, like, that experience like, you feel like you're really riding the sandworm. Like, you
mm.
feel like, you're attached to it and you're riding and you're going along with them, and it's, like I said, very incredibly thrilling scene, and, another thing about the first movie was that it was a little, like I said, a little slow, mostly set up. There probably wasn't a lot of it's not a lot of action in the first one. Here, there's quite a bit more, so that probably is gonna get more people into this, than they did the first one. What are your thoughts on that?
Uh, I think the action for the most part is well done. It's well choreographed, especially some of the fight scenes later. But I did feel near the end there were some questionable decisions on the way it was shot and presented, and it did feel a bit. I don't know about you, but the ending felt rushed to me in comparison to the rest of the film. It felt very, especially much later on. The fighting felt more clinical later, not as strategic, and not what I expected. And there were just certain ways that certain characters arrived to certain scenes later
Mhm.
where I was kind of scratching my head going, well, how did they know to get there, and that doesn't quite make sense on that metric, especially how long you've taken to get to this point. I'm gonna be honest. When I watched this movie, I actually was shocked that we got to the end with the way we got to the end.
Mm,
I was under a pretense. Well, we still have a lot of the book, a lot of the stuff to go into. Certain side characters haven't showed up. Certain elements haven't showed up. I guess there'll be a part three. This will kind of be like a two tower situation. Hopefully, they'll wrap it up in a way. We're actually going with the war part. They are going with the invasion part. Oh, okay.
interesting. 'Cause you've read the book of Dune, written
I've
by
read the
Frank Herbert.
book. I've seen the David Lynch. I've seen the sci-fi TV series version, including Children of Dune, which was a combination of Messiah and the third book. So I and now I've seen this. I've seen like three different versions of the same story, and a
Yeah,
couple others. So I guess I'm far more familiar with the material.
yeah. And yeah, so this series, Dune, it is an adaptation of Frank Herbert's work. He wrote the novel Dune all the way back in 1965, and there's been various adaptations. A lot of people considered it unfilmable. We mentioned that in our
Oh
review of
yeah, especially
David
when you
Lynch.
read it straight from the book.
Yeah. So it's makes it even crazier to think that David Lynch tried to jam all this stuff
Yeah,
into one movie. There, it's like, man, I understand the stress that must have been there to try to cram all
yeah.
this material because Dune is dense. It's a very
Oh
dense book.
yeah.
I know of it. I haven't read it myself, but I know it is very dense.
It's
But
a bit of a read. You have to really engross yourself in the world, and it takes quite a bit to do so. Once you do, you really can kind of start to get into the mindset of at least the first book. I say the second book, if you honestly though, the first book is at least the most legible of the ones, the most like digestible, I would say. Once you get to Messiah and the Children of Dune, it starts getting all right. Not a lot's kind of happening. We're kind of have to condense some stuff. I mean, things are happening, but it's a lot of stuff kind of political in the background. A couple things happening. Characters aren't a lot of montage moments would probably be put into film to kind of show a progressive time because a lot of time is passing.
mm,
Uh, hey, and if people thought that, and I agree with the book for the most part on paper is pretty unfilmable. But if you think that's unfilmable, wait till you get like to lay the later books like Emperor of Dune.
yeah, which I don't know if they're gonna continue. I don't know if maybe another director is maybe gonna pick that. Me and Sage talked about that. Like there is more
Mm.
material to mine
Oh
from
yeah, there's
Dune.
far more
Um,
material.
And then I know Warner Brothers, they need a new big franchise. I don't know if they're gonna go like, "Hey, maybe hey, we got all this material Doom, maybe we're gonna go that." But for right now, Denny Villeneuve just says he's gonna do one more, and that's it. And there was even a discussion between me and Sage here whether or not the third one should even be split up because that one's pretty big too. If you want to split that up, um,
Yeah.
yeah, it's interesting that you had that kind of perspective about this movie and whether the ending kind of felt kind of rushed there. It's interesting. So with the second one, we're getting a lot more, also more of the characters we saw in the second one, but we didn't have I mean, the first one, but
Mm.
we didn't have time to get to because the movie was wrapping up, and, so in this second, we get more, with those characters here, like I said, the Freeman here, we get more of them. Zendaya, who's Chani in this, who's the love interest, of Paul Atreides, who I think this is probably the best I've seen Zendaya, acting-wise. I never thought she was a bad actress, but, it's probably really stretching and with her range, I think he or she does a really, really great job,
I'm here.
in the film. And yeah, a lot of stuff they do with her, I think is very good. It's a contrast to what she was in the first movie, where it's basically just she was shooting a Revlon commercial. So I'm good that she actually kind of plays a character here. Stuff with Florence Pugh in this, very good. I liked a lot of her scenes where you see her with the Emperor and kind of their own home planet. I thought that was a lot of really good scenes.
Mhm.
She's a what do you call it? The Beratresses?
Yes, she's Princess Cerulean, the Emperor's daughter.
Yeah, but she's also the kind of part of like those group of women that have
Janet Bezeret.
Janet Bezeret. Yeah, the group of women there.
Yeah,
Um,
she's not quite because she received their tutelage and training. She's not quite a Janet Bezeret, but she has been basically tutored. The thing about the Empire is the Janet Bezeret basically have a seat, and they've been playing a game throughout all the lines, and taking the back seat. They're basically shadow manipulators that manipulate every house, every gene, every pool, so that eventually they could get the Kwisatz Haderach. who would be the first male-born Bene Gesserit that would have their powers, but they wanted in a gene line to get so when they did, they would be prepared for it in a time and a place where they would be prepared for it. But because of Lady Jessica, he may have shown up early and not under their control, which is their worst fear.
Mm, interesting.
Because basically, for the Bene Gesserit, a man who cannot be controlled is limitless, and
Mm,
that terrifies them.
mm, interesting. So you have her, John Boyd, who's also in this, who's the Emperor. Javier Bardem, who you saw in the first one, but he gets a little bit more in this. I love him in this one. I
Oh yeah.
think he's one of my favorite characters in this one. He's a freeman, a very religious fundamentalist freeman.
Mhm,
You do have like two different sects of the freeman culture. You have one that believe like, hey, we believe we don't care about the prophecy, we don't care about the religion aspects. We believe we can free ourselves. We don't need a messiah. We don't need a
mhm,
prophet, which they believe that with Paul Atreides, they believe his character. Some believe that he is the Messiah, and he's going to lead them to this green paradise. He's going to turn
mhm.
Arrakis into this green paradise that has been written. So he represents more of that group of people. I thought he was really good. I thought when he had to be funny, I thought he was really funny. I think that a lot of the humor comes from him in the movie too. And when he had to be dramatic, he had to be dramatic. Yeah, I loved a lot of that. And Immaturity said one thing I didn't bring up during the review of the 1984 Dune, that I wish wish I had, was how hard that movie whitewashed the entire Freeman culture. Yeah, so you see in this the Freeman culture, you see a lot of mix of like people like more browner skin, darker skinned people here. With the Freeman, people like Zendaya, people like Javier Bardem, various other members there. So I liked it. I liked that there was like these two different sects of the
Yeah,
Freeman kind of culture and kind of went in more into that.
which
Would you?
is yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna pass it to you. Yeah, what do you think about that?
That's actually a so it's kind of there in the books where there's the north and the south, and they're kind of like slightly different. In the books, they're a lot more. There is hesitation at first, but eventually, like both of them get online. That's actually this movie's interpretation, which I think actually works. Where there's that initial look, they're just outsiders who just joined our sect, and we're not really vibing with them. We don't really want to trust them. Basically, on the word of Javier Bardem's character Stilgar, that's the only thing that's saving them at this point, and it's basically like a fight for their bloodline, and so you can understand both sides. Uh, that's really more of an introduction in this movie where there's a constant fight, especially Zendaya. Zendaya's character, Shani or Johnny, as Timothy Chalamet, I think pronounces it. He, I want to stop saying they shoot. She kind of shows off more of a rebellious nature than she does in the books. She's always been bold in the books, but she does show off a far more rebellious, kind of pushing back constantly. I don't believe in this prophecy. I don't want to deal with this. I only care about the Fremen. I don't care about any of this other crap. What really interests me more is just that the Fremen are safe. That is her main concern. And I think that while I don't think Zendaya is able to kind of give that its full potential. She's better than she's been in some areas, but I honestly think she just doesn't fit the part, really. She just
Mm,
can't really emote. She gives one real facial expression, which is either doughy kind of I'm listening, and the other of pout, I'm mad, because it's like a face that your girlfriend gives you when she's mad about some shit that you've done.
like that face?
Yeah.
That
And it's those two expressions throughout her entire thing. And meanwhile, uh meanwhile, Rebecca Ferguson and Javier Bardem are acting circles around her every single scene. Even and I you know what? I will take back what it is like. I didn't think Timothée Chalamet was that really great as Paul Atreides in the first one. I felt it was a little. He really stepped up for this one. He
mm,
really improved his performance in this one, and he really showed a consistency in trying to grow as a character. And I felt by the end well, may have not been the. I still think the best choice. He does bring it into his own eventually, and you really can see that character evolve where he starts off as more of a reluctant This movie really spends a lot of time that's not necessarily in the book, although he does have the resisting trying to fulfill a quote unquote false prophecy. This one really hammers it home. Was like, I don't want to do that. I really don't want to be a kind of a white savior kind of situation. I really, really don't want to. And eventually, his hand kind of gets forced, where he just has to accept a destiny that he doesn't exactly want due to circumstances.
Mm,
And I think he does display that quite well. Honestly, for most of the acting, I think everyone does a really good job. Aside from Zendaya, who she does fine. The only performance I'm really, really disappointed with though was Christopher Walken.
mm,
They just
uh,
don't, and that's more just I think he can, whether he was just didn't have the energy, or he just they just made him play it really low key. Kind
yeah,
of similar how they have the Harkonnen head, who is played by Stellan Skarsgård as Baron Vladimir.
mm,
He's far more pompous, far more it's just maniacal in the books, far more scheming and clever. Even though he is floating and he has like a really terrible body, he is far more flamboyant in his interactions. They're always scheming to try and kill each. The Harkonnens are always trying to scheme to kill each other, and having him just kind of floating around and not really saying much, I felt was that's fine, but I would have appreciated a little bit more of the scheming intellectual nature that that character has.
mm. I was got the good that you bring up the Harkonnen. I was about to pivot into them. So you see Stellan Skarsgård, who you also saw as the Baron Harkonnen, who you saw in the first one. You also see Dave Bautista, who makes a return here as well. You see that now, after the fall of House Atreides, he got a promotion. He got a, you know what I mean? And then now that he got a promotion, he's fucking up on the job.
Uh,
You know what I mean? The Freemen are
which is
ruining.
consistent pretty much in every single version.
Uh, he's trying to collect this spice, be the number one spice harbors of the galaxy here to do this. But the Freeman, which I really love those action sequences where they're just interrupting all the production there. They're doing these small arm attacks there. They're with these tanks and everything like that. I really loved a lot of that stuff. And you see Austin Butler, who's fed Harkonnen there. Uh
Mhm.
I really like. How do you feel about the whole Cronins in general? Do you think they're a little too just like, "Ooh, we're crazy psycho killers, there, and we're gonna show that by, killing our own guys, and we don't even give a fuck about our own people." Like, how did you feel about
E-
them?
Even in the books, Harkonnens are described as just completely bestial people, just completely repugnant, awful beings. They're not even humans anymore. They're animals, and they just focus more on constant chemical use to improve themselves, chemical use to deal with the atmosphere of their planet, which they caused upon themselves based on what they do. Uh, they also are involved in cloning and a few other just really screwed up crap. Yeah, they just have no interest on life at all. So I can see that it may be a little too quick, especially when you're. There were some stupid moments where it was they're trying to find the Fremen, and he just gets mad and kills one of them. Like, you idiots, do it better. It felt like a Ren and Stimpy moment. Just
Mm,
do better. He's like, well, now the person who could have used that equipment is dead, and they're probably the other guys are probably not trained to use that equipment. So you just kind of cut off an arm because you're mad. But Dave Bautista's character is nicknamed the Beast, not for his brains. He's basically a brutish meathead. He's not smart at all. He makes really stupid, impulsive decisions. And this was supposed to be an easy job. And his younger brother, who was played by Austin Butler, who shows up, Afayed Rutha, he is far more sadistic, far more cruel, very intelligent, a honestly worthy rival for Paul Atreides in just his cunning and cleverness. And if anyone honestly is going to take the Harkonnen uh, crown, so to speak, even in the books, it's basically been like, yeah, it's going to be him.
mm, yeah. And I liked it, kinda squaring off. It's like, kinda wish this movie was almost longer to get into more of the conflict, the ongoing conflict there that on this planet
Mm,
of Dune, of, Arrakis, there to see a little bit more of the military strategy of
yeah.
Austin Butler's character, that would have been nice. Um, You do mention and, Rating from Maturity said, "In the book, Baron is, also more actively gross too, like disease, pustules
Oh, yeah.
leaking out of his face and stuff like that," which you saw in the 1984 Dune.
Yeah.
They
There
very
are
much
some things that are more accurate in the book, ironically, in 1984 version than there are here. Honestly, they don't show how space works, which, uh, even in part 1, Dennis did say he did film all those parts. It's just they had to be cut out. There were a lot of extra scenes cut out of this movie as well that, have credits as special thanks, but are not in this version. So I have no doubt that when this is all said and done, almost like years later, like Lord of the Rings, they'll emerge
special
a
edition.
special edition extended cut with
Uh,
those added scenes.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, maybe like that, probably.
Yeah, which I'd be down to see it. I would definitely be down if you're doing a
Oh yeah,
trilogy, and I'm gonna wait for it to come as a trilogy and to bundle all together when they do that and to have all the special features and extras and
yeah.
everything like that. That'd be great to see if they can close it out and close it out well. I would definitely be
Mhm,
interested in something like that. But yeah, just to see a little bit more of the ongoing conflict there. As far as your opinion about John Voight, I guess I can kind of see that. It seems like he's a little bit more toned down than we usually see Christopher I mean, I'm sorry, uh, Christopher Walken. I kept saying
yeah,
John Voight. I'm
yeah,
sorry,
yeah.
Christopher
It's all
Walken.
right. We
Christopher
were talking
Walken.
about Bratz earlier. He wasn't that.
Yeah, sorry about that. I kept saying John Voight. I mean Christopher Walken. Yeah, Christopher Walken. It's a little bit more toned down than we've seen him before. So I kind of see your opinion there. But maybe I'm thinking, I don't know if you maybe know
Mhm.
more. You probably know him since but that he's gonna have more of a bigger role there, maybe later on.
He will
Maybe
not.
okay, interesting. So yeah, but yeah, I kind of see some of your opinion there.
Yeah, he's basically without spoiling anything. He's a character who is very much controlled by the Bezert Jesuit, and as a kind of a he believes himself to be a grandmaster in playing of chess, when really he's just at best he's the king on the chessboard. He's not the grandmaster. He's just another piece on the board,
Mm,
being
okay,
outplayed and maneuvered. And eventually, they're around the time that when he realizes that Paul Atreides is alive, he realizes his time is being short.
yeah. And you mentioned Rebecca Ferguson, Javier Bardem.
Mhm.
I think they're acting circles around a lot of people. Honestly, I think
Yeah.
they are very great in the movie, and to see like her arc in this movie, Lady Jessica, Rebecca Ferguson, I think she does really well here. To see her kind of stuff there and her role in kind of helping legitimize Paul Atreides, Timothée Chalamet.
By
I
using very nefarious means.
Yeah, I like that quite a bit. Yeah, this was man, I mean, this was
Mhm.
great movie to watch. Like I said, I think it is better than the first one. I think it's more thrilling than the first one. I think it's better than pretty much every element than the first one. I say the
Mm,
first one's bad. I just think the first one is okay. You just get into the story. There's quite a bit of setup there that you have to get into. Here, you're more getting into
mhm,
the characters and this world, and now you're fully kind of more settled in, and this conflict, and everything like that. And I'm interested to see where they're going to take this next.
mhm,
This movie is filled with really good performances. We've mentioned from Timothy Chalamet to Zendaya, from Rebecca Ferguson, Javier Bardem, Christopher Walken. I think it is filled with some really great Austin Butler there. The look of this movie, gorgeous look of this movie too. Like I said, this scene right here, man, I'd love to revisit the scene again. Um, yeah, really fantastic movie on a
mhm.
lot of levels here. Definitely, if you can, if you have the availability to, if you're, if an IMAX theater is in your surrounding area, please go see it in IMAX if you can. I think it's really going to benefit you to see it in IMAX, see it on a nice, big, glorious screen with the sound just booming. I think that would really help a lot. So for me, yeah, I would give it a high peak for me. What about you?
Uh, just like the first part, there are parts in this I wish the story was told maybe slightly better. Certain things that were changed in the book for the movies, I would have preferred not be changed because I knew what would kind of happen later as they went on, and I was not I was not proved wrong. But despite those changes and what could have been done, I think it's honestly a miracle that this has been as well adapted as it has been. For a book that's mostly, yeah, pretty much very difficult to adapt, almost impossible to adapt. Dennis has done an amazing job adapting it with a pretty stellar cast for the most part. We didn't even talk about uh, Jason Brolin, Josh
Uh,
Brolin
yeah,
as
Josh Brolin.
Gunry, which I was, for small detail's sake, I really appreciated that they showed off that he was playing an instrument because it's actually a big part of his character. It's the only big part is really shown off is in a dinner scene earlier in the books. But as soon as I saw that as a fan, or at least as I see multiple versions, like I knew who that character was right away. Small details like that in other moments make me like, just know right away that Dennis is a big fan of the book. He's read it, he knows different versions of it, he's aware of it. And what changes he makes, while I don't always necessarily agree with some of them, I do see his point in trying to make them. Again, I wish, as much as I do love these movies, I wish a bit more of the science fiction kind of color comes out. Some of these are a little muted, but when they do have color in them, they really pop. And that muted, it does give an excellent contrast for it. But for all those things that I may not have liked or things that I wish could have done better, it does not take away from the whole. As a movie in general, this has been a breath of fresh air just seeing, especially in IMAX. Uh, I came prepared this time. I wore specific earplugs for the IMAX experience because, boy, when it gets loud, and it gets loud, the
Yeah,
room shakes.
yeah.
It lets you know it's there.
Mm,
And there are just certain moments that you're just not gonna forget if you happen to see an IMAX. What really comes down to, despite what gripes might have for small things, is this movie worth seeing in cinema? And I can answer that very clearly as a yes. This is definitely worth seeing in cinema, which is something I haven't said in a couple of months, really. And I'm so
mm,
happy to say that for the second part. I would say the same for the first part. I would say this definitely for the second part. You're definitely get a lot more action than the first part. First part's more political and more like mind games, and this is where the consequences from those mind games concludes. Uh, with that, I think I just yeah, I think I just rate this as a um kind of bordering on a high tune in, low peak. Yeah, I'm gonna go with a low peak. I think this is very, very good. It whatever with some small problems and some big problems here and there for book fans, but I think it's better than the sum of its parts, and it more than makes up for it. And for that alone, it is definitely worth seeing in the cinema. IMAX, if you could do so, I think you will really be justified, especially for that, which I don't know if your IMAX pricing, it was like $25. I know it's a lot to ask, but I think this is one of the few occasions that you can splurge for a bit.
yeah. I have the AMC Stubs pass there, so it doesn't allow you to pay for IMAX or any 3D movie there. You get basically free movies a week there with the IMAX Stubs pass for $21 a month. You could do that.
Good investment, especially the amount of movies we see.
Yeah, yeah. If I didn't have that, I'd be real in real trouble with the amount of movies we see a week. So,
Yeah, I'm just
that
talking about layman's pricing.
yeah, if you're just somebody who just like, hey, I want a good theater experience right now. What movie can I go see? Go see Dune. If I had to
Go
say,
see
if
us and do part two.
yeah, Dune Part 2, I think this is a good theater experience. This is something to see in theaters. Like I said, it's been a it's been a wasteland.
Yeah.
It's been a desert.
Just
Um,
know if you're gonna go to see an IMAX, uh, bring some form of ear protection or be ready because it does get loud.
yeah, yeah, it does get loud there. So yeah, you gave it a low peak, high tune in there, kind of around that territory
Yeah,
for Dune Part 2. I
definitely,
gave it
but
a high peak.
definitely a movie experience. Definitely go out and see it.
I gave it a high peak there. Yeah, yeah, yeah. First great movie for me in 2024. I was already making a list of worst of 2024. I already got a good list
I
ready.
know we
You
got
know,
Argyle, a few others.
Madam Web,
Madam Web, ooh, yeah,
Miller's Girl. This new Tyler Perry movie. I already got a good, basically half of a top bottom worst list already,
you're gonna
and
have to do.
it's not
Yeah,
even we're not even out of March yet. I was
no,
like,
we're not even in March. We just started March.
yeah, so they have that. But hey, finally, a movie that I'm like, okay, I could see this putting this on
Yeah.
my best of list there, depending on how the rest of the year shakes out. So there is that. Yeah. So yeah, that were our thoughts on Dune Part 2. Ready for maturity. Said, do you think, Dust? Do you think Dune Messiah can fit into a single film?
Uh, if they cut out a lot,
Mm.
if they
Okay.
cut out a whole lot, You could maybe in the sci-fi Children of Dune series that they did years ago, around 2009, 2010. That was, I think, 4 to 6 hours long, if I recall. Just like the previous one was 4 to 6 hours, so they were able to give a longer span of time. Uh, in the books, the war with the Atreides and when Paul's learning in the desert, that lasts about 3 years. So actually, his little sister is born in the books and other adaptations. So this was unique in the fact that they condensed it down to 6 months, really, which omits certain characters and certain other things. But I can see for a movie you want to do that. Uh, with Messiah and Children of Dune, you could do it. It just yeah, you'd be omitting a lot. But then again, there is a lot in Messiah that could be probably montaged.
Mm,
Children of Dune gets weird. The
yeah.
rest of the series get weird, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I was planning on doing a review of this. We did the 1984 Doom, but yeah, I was planning on doing a review of this.
Of the sci-fi children or the other one?
Yeah, of this one of the series, the sci-fi series here,
Yeah,
Children of Dune, with James McAvoy,
James McAvoy. Yeah,
and
as the son of Paul Atreides.
Susan Sarandon,
Mhm.
as well, and all of it's on. Looks like it's on YouTube. You can watch all the
Yeah. Oh,
episodes.
yeah. You can watch all of it. Uh, there is you can't find the unrated version. I think on YouTube initially, you have to. I don't think they have the unrated version on there, but you
Yeah,
can. The DVD collection is pretty good.
let me
More like Sand Club.
more like Sand Club. Yeah, I don't like sand. It's coarse and rough,
So
and
rough
it's
gets everywhere.
everywhere. Yeah, who likes sand? Nobody really likes sand.
I guess
Uh,
people near the ocean who don't have to worry about that. If your house is just next to the ocean, you're walking barefoot most of the time or on sandals, it probably doesn't bother you that much.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess if you know that you're in an area where not a lot of people come and you're just walking in the beach, maybe you don't have to worry about glass or needles or
Yeah.
shit or
Oh
piss
yeah.
or something like that, yeah. Yeah, I guess that's good. Yeah, sand kinda feels good on your feet, on your toes sometimes.
Yeah. Also, usually you have like a water basin near your home that you put your feet in to wash the initial sand off of before you step back in.
Yeah. So there's that. Yeah, we're gonna be back. Like I said, I'm gonna be streaming Saturday. Gonna be doing a review there. Tyler Perry's Mia Copa. I'm gonna be doing Vince Staples' Netflix show. Also, we're doing a stream Sunday. I'm gonna be doing a stream with Nick. Gonna be doing Avatar, doing ranking our 10
Mm,
favorite episodes there, and also doing. He's gonna give his review of Dune Part Two. Monday, gonna be doing a stream with Sage from Rated M Prematurity. We're gonna do Paprika, doing a review of that.
mhm.
Then also Wednesday, we're gonna be doing a review of Kung Fu Panda 3 and Roadhouse, 1989. And Dustin's gonna be joining me again next Friday. We're gonna be doing Kung Fu Panda 4. Gonna
Yes,
do a review of
sir.
that. Let me Wink said, I refurbished those needles for safer use. That's good. Recycle.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Recycle those needles. That's
Which you
always
should do.
there's that. Yeah. I'm gonna find somebody to raid, and yeah, we're gonna be getting out. Let's see. I'll rate a female streamer since it is Women's Month. Happy Women's Month there. Yeah.
Hmm.
Do. And love you too there, Lemmy Winks. Very much appreciate that you could stop
Thank you,
by.
sir.
Many blessings to you as well. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Let me see. I'll raid. Let's see. Mini Portable's on right now. Watching that as she usually does on
Mhm.
Fridays. Watching that wrestling.
Go for it, man.
Yeah.
Do we know when doing on the Tyler Perry joint is coming out?
It's already out already on Netflix.
Oh, it's already out now? Oh, okay.
Yeah. If you want
Do
to
we
have a
know?
good laugh.
Okay. Okay.
What you about to say?
No, I just didn't know if you wanted me to watch it as well for the review if we're doing it on Friday.
Oh no, I'm doing a review for that Saturday.
Oh,
So
okay.
somebody's coming on there.
Got it.
Yeah, but if you want to have a good laugh, I mean, maybe
I usually do when I watch Tyler Perry movies.
yeah, if you want to check that out. All right, people. I'm gonna send you over to Mini Potable. Like I said, check us out on all those streams. You can follow us on all the social medias: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Blue Sky, all the afternoon tune. Just type it in and you'll be able to find us. If you want to send us an email, you can do so at theafternoon@gmail.com. We're also able to listen to podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. If you see us on any of those platforms, make sure to leave a good 5-star review that helps boost the podcast and does a lot for us. Twitch.tv/afternoon. We're usually streaming every Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, all those days like that. Usually about 7, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Also, YouTube.com afternoon tune. Type that in. You'll be able to follow us there. Trying to get to 2K subs. That'd be awesome if we could do that. Trying to get to 400 followers on Twitch. That'd be awesome if we could do that as well. Like I said, I'm gonna send you over to Meanie Portable there. She's streaming right now, watching that good old wrestling as she usually does. Thank you to
Yes,
Lemmy
sir.
Winks. Thank you for Radiant Maturity for stopping by. Very much appreciated there. Give them some love if you can. And all right, everybody, stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, and we out of here.
Absolutely.
Thanks, man.